Conlon. My next guest is a brand new children's author from Dundalk who has just published her first book, The Adventures of Tim the Tipper in Quentin's Quarry. I'm delighted to welcome Emer Conlon to Late Lunch. Emer, you're very welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Gerry. Thank you.
Congratulations on the book. It's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. A lot of blood, sweat and tears are on each page of that, but it's here. I'm so pleased, so excited now.
The illustrations, the colour and everything in it are spectacular. Take me back. We're going to talk a little bit about yourself, but let's talk about this book. You said it's here at last, and there's been a lot of work to get it to this stage. Talk to me about you and writing. Where does that come from?
Well, I suppose even at school, which is a few years ago now, I really enjoyed the English side of things and writing essays and things like that, and stories. And about 5 years ago, I thought to myself, you know what, I'd love to write a children's book. And one of my friends took me into Eason and said, really? And from floor to ceiling was full of books. And how am I going to stand out in front of this, shelf, etc.? But 3 years ago, it came back into my head. I don't think it ever went away. And I just thought, you know what, this is something I'm going to do. And over the last year or so, I've really just focused on it. And here we are now today with the book in your hand.
So from that, when she walked in with you and said, look at this, and, in a way, you better think about this before you go down this road.
Exactly. And it turned me off slightly. I was going, yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't think anybody would have thought of this before, you see, Gerry. I thought I was the only one to think of writing a children's book. But then 3 years ago, I had the name, I had the concept, I had all of this going around in my head. And I just then took pen to paper, and it was something I did after work 3 years ago, and focusing on my various clients and business, etc. And then this year I thought, listen, if I don't give it a go now, somebody else is going to think of books about trucks, because we've had the trains, we've had cars, etc. And there was a gap there regarding trucks. I thought to myself, listen, I need to capture this now and just go for it, and which I did, and here we are.
Now, the trucks.
Yes.
That comes from an obvious source, because you work for
McIlvanney Motors, the main Scania truck dealer in the northeast.
And is that where this came from, this idea? Sitting in your office or wherever, thinking about what you're surrounded about?
Yes, obviously I was focused on work as well, Gerry, but yes, as I glanced out the window very occasionally, I was surrounded by trucks, and I thought to myself, gosh, there's nothing there that's focusing on trucks. And all the boys, little boys coming into McIlvanney Motors, they're in awe of the trucks, and they love the Scanias and the Volvos, etc. And I thought there's something there. And we had an open day about a few years ago now, and we took in jigsaws and everything, and we did an art competition regarding trucks, and they just lapped it up. They loved it, and there really is nothing there. And during the course of my research to get to this point, there is an obvious gender gap between boys and girls of the same age, between 5 and 8 years of age. Now, obviously, it depends on the individual child and the parents and the school, but overall, there is a gender gap. And I feel that if the boys enjoyed the book, if it was about something that they enjoyed, for example, trucks in this case, then they're more inclined to read. And it could be this. It could just change a little boy's perspective, and I wouldn't go as dramatic to say their lives, but it just could give them an interest in reading, which will open up so many doors for them, So here's hoping it works on that level, on an educational level as well, and encouraging them to read,
Where did you get the names of the various characters from? Because this is Tim the Tipper in this one, in Quentin's Quarry, and some of the other ones that you have, Bully Dozer, Screech, Theo the Tipper, Craig the Crusher.
I know. I think some of it was very much alliteration, and with children, etc., there has to be a lot of repetition, alliteration, just catchiness like that. The likes of Screech, he is called Screech because no mechanic in the land can fix his brakes, and any time he goes around a corner, he goes like this. I don't know where that came from, just from my head.
I was going to say that. Are they figments of your imagination? Yes. Is there anything in this based on real life, any of these?
No, it's all in my little world,
You're
Gerry.
You're assuring people on that. It won't come out down the road.
Absolutely, no, it never will.
So these are born in your imagination and now coming to life.
Coming to life, yeah. And Nozzle, exactly, on the page of the book. And Nozzle, just because he's a little mobile mechanic, if you like, and he's got his two arms are actually nozzles. One is the nozzle for the diesel and one is the nozzle for the air. And I just thought we'd call him Nozzle and Noz to his friends, So, yeah, it just came from my head, which is slightly slightly worrying actually now that I say that loud. But
No, it's creativity.
creativity,
And that's
thank
what you
you.
have.
Yes.
Now, this is the first book, and as I said to listeners, it is most beautifully written and illustrated. Who did your illustration?
Well, my initial illustrations, first of all, I knew exactly what I wanted because I had sketched them out, but they are definitely not what you see in front of you. I wasn't born with that particular talent to draw. So a local girl, Kathy McKeown, did my initial sketches for me, and then I needed it to be more cartoon-like because I envisage it as a cartoon, a movie, etc. And they needed to be on computer. And therefore I got John McCormack, who is an illustrator in Dublin, to come on board as well. So, and this is the result of it, the vibrancy of the colours and the detail of the characters as well. It just all came to life, really.
Now, you're thinking ahead because you have electronic obviously involved in your mind here and the different forms of media down the road. You are a marketing person by profession, and obviously you're thinking ahead as well with this. You were telling me earlier on that already you're thinking of bringing out an Irish version of this first book.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I feel that when I was going back to the research I did a couple of years ago, I contacted Forrest na Gaeltachta, who are over all the Gael Scoilnas in Ireland, and there's a lot more of them now than there would have been 10 years ago. And I felt that this style of book and this content and topic was slightly neglected in the Irish, in the Gaelscoils, if you like, and for the Irish-speaking children. So I thought to myself, listen, it's printed in Ireland, it's, I'm Irish, everything pertaining to it is Irish, and I thought it would be remiss not to at least do a short print run and see how we get on with the Gaelscoilnas. And when I spoke with Forrest na Gaeltachta, they were very enthusiastic about the whole concept, and nothing has been done like it before. And yes, I'm getting it translated currently as we speak. In fact, I should have it done by the end of today or tomorrow, and I'm hoping to have that printed for Christmas as well, as Gaeilge.
Now, there's a website associated with this as well called Vroom-Town.
Yes.
And that has just gone live as well, is it?
That's just gone live last Friday, and that's why the book, I could only kind of really push and launch the book from the past week, because it's very intrinsically linked. Now, both of them stand on their own. Children could go onto the website and not ever have bought the book and play the games and do the colouring sections, etc. Or they could just read the book as it is. But I felt at the time, and this is the marketing side coming in again, that children of 2 and 3, sometimes before they can talk or walk, they're playing with the iPhones of their parents and the iPads, and they're so au fait with it, that in order to engage them just that step further, it would be important to have an online aspect to the book. And also, online they can read some pages of the book, etc. And there's educational games like word searches, colouring for eye coordination and everything. And there's fun games where they have to get bully-dozer from one end of the quarry to the other without getting blown up by TNT and things. So it's a really good interactive website, yeah. And they can enter a secret code and they get a certificate, etc.
So that's vroom-town.ie if anybody wants to take a quick look at that. Now, this book is the first book, but you're well on the road with others already. I can't believe how far ahead of yourself you are at this stage. How many more have you ready to go?
Well, I met my illustrator John yesterday for the second book, just to have initial discussions about different characters, etc. And I have 5 books completely written, and I have titles for 30 more, Gerry. I'm way ahead of myself, you're right. If I could sell some of these now first, but yeah, I've titles for 30 more.
So you've done a lot, as you say. It's been taking a few years to get to this point, but you've been working away, doing a lot of preparatory work, and that is all sitting there now ready to go. You're a marketing woman. What's the response been to this like early on?
The response has been completely overwhelming. I know, like family and friends, well, they're supposed to say it's great and everything like that, and they've been amazing. But it's been trickling out now to different aspects of society, if you like, and it's been just so positive. People are like, I can't believe nobody has done a book about trucks before. And at the back of the book there's an activity page where there's a colouring in section, and there's also a maze as well, just again for interactivity. And everybody is just, they're so they're really so amazed that nobody's done it before, and it's very positive. They're like, I can't wait to get this now for such and such for Christmas, and it's coming into a great time now whereby people are thinking of Christmas presents and things like that. So it's just the timing and everything went really, really well.
And you're hoping that there's another little boost down the road before the end of the week, because you've pitched to the toy show.
I have, yes. I've pitched the toy show. In March, I first contacted them because I wasn't sure quite when they did their scheduling, and I really didn't want to miss it. And then in August, I contacted them again. I've been doing kind of teaser marketing things to them, just little illustrations, etc. And then a couple of weeks ago, I went up to the RT studios myself and got through security, and without them chasing me, I blagged my way in, and then I literally handed to the lady responsible for the books on the toy show. So I don't know. I'll know at the end of the week whether I will be on, and you know what? It would be absolutely amazing if I was on the toy show. That said, if I'm not on the toy show, it would be the cherry on top, I suppose, to be in the toy show. If I'm not, we've loads of icing on the cake, Gerry. I have loads of marketing things, coming up and that, but it would just be great, yeah.
It's available around the locality at the minute, is it? In shops?
It is, yeah. It's in Easton in Dundalk, and in Carol's books on Park Street in Dundalk, and also it's available in Easton's in Monaghan. So I'm slowly kind of penetrating through the various bookstores myself, but I'm also going to be talking to a distributor later on in the week for national distribution. Now I'm very lucky insofar as I have a great network of friends literally throughout the country who have taken some books and they're displaying them in local shops, everywhere from Thurles to Wexford and everywhere in between, really. So in that regard, it's slowly getting through, but I suppose the website and the online activity that I'm undertaking as well is a great help, because I'm on Facebook, and I think that's opening doors to people that you wouldn't really be in touch with in person with contact with. But yes, it's exciting times. I'm exhausted, but it's a good exhausted.
Yeah, because you do a lot of other things beside which we're going to talk about. But the book itself, this is a beautiful production, I have to say.
Thank you.
A lot of people would go out of this country to have this book put together, printed, etc. What did you do? Because the costs are less, let's face it, elsewhere, but you've gone a different route.
I did. I went a different route, and I think the reason for that, Gerry, is because I'm a business person myself and in Dundalk, and I wanted to keep jobs local, and I certainly wanted to keep them in Ireland, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to sustain that, because obviously, there's China and Singapore, Hong Kong, etc., and an awful lot of the books on the shelves is made in those places. And from one aspect, you can't blame the people because it is so much cheaper, but I am determined. Certainly this book, everything to do with it is it's printed in Ireland. The stickers and everything, they're all Irish made, and I'm hoping I can sustain that, and I would be happy to do so, because local jobs are very important, particularly in today's climate.
Now, the book is called Vroom-Town, and we have a couple of copies to give away on late lunch this afternoon. And before we go to a break, we'll ask a little question of the listeners. This book is aimed at little boys between the age of 5 and 8. And my question today, Vroom-Town, and the first book is The Adventure of Tim the Tipper in Quentin's Quarry. What are these books about? What kind of vehicles were we talking about that Emer is writing about? Text your answer now to 53958 with your name and details, and we'll Emer's brought us a couple of the books to give away before she leaves us this afternoon. We're just going to head to a quick commercial break. I have to say it again, I love it. The Adventure of Tim the Tipper in Quentin's Quarry is the brand new book from a new children's author that you're going to be hearing an awful lot more about. Emer Conlon from Dundalk is with us on Late Lunch. Are you a town person born and reared?
Town person born and reared, yeah, centre of Dundalk.
But in your life, you went to an exotic place when you were a young lady for a couple of years.
I did, very, very young lady. I was 8, and my dad worked in the ESB, and we moved to Bahrain off the coast of Saudi Arabia for 2 years. So,
what a lovely place.
Oh yeah.
What age were you?
8.
So you were Tim the Tipper trucks
I was.
At that stage, yeah. Do you have your memories of that time?
I do. I have memories of the schools and the sun. Obviously, it didn't rain really there at all, and I just thought that everybody did this as a child. I didn't realise that there was anything extraordinary about it. But the schools there, you'd be mixed in with Arabs, Pakistanis, English, French, absolutely multicultural, and therefore we learned French at that age. Now I can't speak it anyway; it didn't help me. But loads of different subjects that you do here in secondary school. We did as primary school, so it was just such an amazing experience. Yeah.
Was it a wrench going there, coming back, or was it just part and parcel of life with your dad?
Part and parcel, yeah. I didn't realise that there was anything different, as I say, and we just went, and then we came back, and then I came back to the Friary School in Dundalk, and then went on to the Louis in Dundalk as well. So that was it.
And into third level, business marketing was your area.
Exactly. I did my degree in business in the Dundalk region at the time, and then I went to Dublin and got a job, went to Australia for a year, came back, worked in Dublin again, and did my master's at night in strategic international marketing. And then I decided that the commute, although I was living in Dublin, the commute was about 2 hours to get from one side of the city to the other, and I thought, listen, I want to go back to the northeast, and moved back to Dundalk and got a job as marketing manager in McIlvanney Motors, and that's where I've been through many guises, but for the last 11 years. So, and here we are now.
So you've been trucking it for a long time.
I've been trucking it a long time. I can get in and out of a Scania truck now without embarrassing myself. In the stilettos, Gerry, I may add.
But you also, at the same time, as I said, you're a busy woman. You set up your own marketing company, and you're working away at that still.
Yes, I am. I've eased off a little bit on it insofar as I'm not taking on any new clients, because I thought to myself, I need to focus on my client nearly, which is Vroom-Town, and give it the time it deserves, because unless I give it that, it mightn't take off, and then it would be such an absolute travesty if it didn't, as a result of my own neglect. So I decided that I was going to give that a priority as well as my existing clients. That was 6 years ago. Yes, I set up Essential Marketing, and I work over then in McIlvanney's 2 days a week and work with my other clients. So it's busy days, long hours, but worth it.
You're juggling a lot of balls at the one time in the year, isn't it? Like, you have so many things going on, but I suppose when you're busy, you just get on with it, and it all slots in some way or another.
It all slots in, and indeed, I think if I was finished work at 6 o'clock, I'd be going, what am I going to do now? Whereas these days, it's a good busy though. These days, I would be switching the laptop off at 12 at night, and I would be up very early the next day. But as I say, it's a good busy, because I can see certainly in terms of Vroom-Town, I can see people's interest levels, and I'm, organising different things, and it's being displayed on shelves in shops. It's amazing. I've taken photographs all the time. I kind of go in, that's my book, and I take a picture. So it's incredible. I'm sure I'm going to get arrested, and people are going, what is she doing? But it's just such an incredible feeling.
No, but that must be, like scoring the winning goal in a cup final when you do walk into a bookshop, I'm sure, and I just see it in your eyes for the first time. Yeah. And there you are, amidst all those that your friends said 5 years ago, Emer, are you mad?
That's right.
But there you are now.
Yeah, there I am. And yesterday, actually, I was in Eason in Monaghan, and I was just looking at people looking at my book, and I was kind of just standing there, and they were just looking at it, and they were picking it up, and I was going, oh God, do they know that's me? That's me. Oh, please buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. So sending positive vibes of buying to them. But yeah, it is. It's an incredible feeling, and I hope it always will be an incredible feeling whenever I walk into any shop. I hope I don't get blasé about it, so it's great.
Message there, congratulations to you on a brilliant new book, which I've just bought from my little grandson. That comes in from KS, and we're getting lots of correct answers to the question, because we're going to give those books away in a second. Can I just say before we finish, one thing crossed my mind as soon as I saw this, and it was reinforced when you walked into the studio this afternoon and handed me the book. And I'm just going to say a few words. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh my gosh.
Because I really feel that you're onto something really big here, and I do wish you all the very best with it in the future. But that's what comes to my mind. It is a wonderful little book, and there's more in the pipeline. Now, we have to do the necessary before you go and give 2 of them away this afternoon. Thanks to everybody who entered the competition, because the theme of these books are
trucks.
Yes, trucks, not lorries. I know people said lorries now, but it is trucks. And the winners of the 2 books this afternoon are Maria Murphy from Rathbrist, And our second winner this afternoon, let's roll them round there, is Alison Gogan from Denore. Well done to both of you. A copy of the book is in the post to you this afternoon. Thanks to everybody else who entered the competition. But it is available in East and round the area. It is online, and the online is www.vroom-town.ie. It's been great meeting you today.
Likewise, Gerry. Thank
Wish you
you.
all the very best with this one and the ones in the future. And when you're up there in famous, don't forget us.
Oh, I definitely won't, Gerry.
Emer Conlon, best of luck to you.
Thank you indeed.
Thank you. There have been many false stones.